Okay, new theory unlocked. Woman goes to the Dominican Republic for a Brazilian butt lift, finds herself without a kidney. What? Excuse me? So according to the article, she went to the Dominican Republic to get a tummy tuck, liposuction, and Brazilian butt lift, all for the cost of $3,500 US. After returning to the States, she wasn't feeling good. She was complaining body aches, headaches, etc. So she went for a checkup. So during this checkup, they was asking her questions, and they had asked her, did she have surgery recently? And she said, yeah. So they ran some tests, and they find out that the numbers from her kidneys were low. Next, they decide to do a scan. When they do the scan, that's when they found out her kidneys was gone. Missing, not there. Well, just one. And of course, after she found out her kidneys was missing, she tried to go find a doctor, but of course he's gone. She had originally found him on Instagram. He deleted his Instagram, all social media accounts, and she can't find him. But yeah, if the price is too good to be true, it's too good to be true.
Regret getting my BBL.
Not have would definitely be a BBL.
Another reason why I regret getting my BBL.
Will say I don't think I'm happy with my BBL results anymore.
Say, do not get your hips filled. Do not go in to get a BBL.
I went and got surgery, and I'm like wanting to transition back to my natural body.
Has there been any surgery that you regret?
The bum. I tried that BBL abroad.
Ladies, I want to know how many of us are regretting their BBLs.
Let her cook. Big low.
So my nurse just came because the soup that they gave me, I couldn't eat it on my own. So she came to feed me. And then I got up to walk. And just in the room, up and down. So the room is quite big, so up and down the room. And then I got to the mirror. And I turn around and look in the mirror. When I turned around and looked in the mirror, everything looks the fucking same to me. Everything looks the same. Everything looks the same. It didn't look no different from how I came in. I didn't need another lipo. And nobody has to tell me. I don't need for anyone to tell me that. I brought this down on myself because I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I know what I've done and I know what I'm doing. I had to gain weight. I had to gain weight in order to get fat to put in there. And I gained like 15 pounds. Yeah. Just so I could get fat to put in there. To put myself through all this pain again. For it to look the same. I'm not looking for sympathy from no one, because as I said, I know what I'm doing, but that's one who messed it up in the first place. And I specifically asked for a doctor who could fix it, for a doctor who could fix the problem. I'm gonna go to sleep. I didn't get my surgery for free. It's the free surgery that fucked up my bum, yeah. I paid my money to fix it. Because all this time I've been asking for them to fix it and nobody was paying me any attention. Yeah. And no one was paying me no attention when it comes to fixing it. I only got responded to when I messaged a doctor directly. Everybody works together, so everyone works together. So when I messaged a doctor, my company responded to me straight away because I was going to go directly to a doctor. I paid to fix my bum. And anyone can say what they want to say. I don't care. I can take the bashing, so anyone is free to say whatever they want to say or whatever they feel like. But I needed to fix my bum because it started to make me feel insecure. So I know I had to get it fixed. Regardless of what anyone wants to say. And anyone saying nothing's wrong with it. Because as I said, I didn't need lipo. I didn't need to do no lipo. But anyways, I guess God is telling me something to leave it. But as I said, I didn't born with my bum like that. I wasn't born that way. So
what if the surgery you thought would transform your life almost ended it? These women experienced infections, severe blood loss, wounds opening, and terrifying complications after cosmetic surgery. And some of them traveled thousands of miles, trusting doctors they barely knew.
I regret getting my BBL part 2. Alright, so another reason why I regret getting my BBL is because I thought that my life was going to change. Like, I don't know, not change, but like, I thought that I would be making more money or something, or just, I don't even know. I'm not gonna lie. I went to like most unsafe, one of the most unsafe places to get this surgery done, and I went by myself. Like, I really could have, like, something bad could have happened to me, bro, and I was alone. But I was young and I'm still young and I'm still turned, but I was really young and turned, and I really didn't care. No fucks was given. And I regret it because a lot of people who wasn't looking my way before started to look my way now. And then unfortunately, when you realize that these same people that wasn't even checking you out before is actually lames in real life, and the people who actually checked for you before the BBL was actually one of the realest people. Yeah.
I'm gonna spill the tea, okay? I'm just in the mood for it. May 9th, I was supposed to go into a surgery. I was gonna get my lipo 360, so they were gonna remove all the fat, from my stomach, from my back, whatever. Then they were gonna fix my hips. Fixing my hips was considered a BBL. And then the doctor's all like, and I'm like, okay, I'm being charged for a BBL. I might as well just put some more ass in there, So I told the doctor, put some ass in there, you might as well go big or go home. I've been a Christian for a very long time. Who the hell did I think that I was? Thinking, I'm gonna go in there and, I'm gonna come out looking like voluptuous. Okay, I thought I'm like cracking myself up. So that very day, I went into my surgery. They literally put my IV, okay? They're like, oh, we're gonna put you Tylenol because it helps with the after pain, blah, 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 you know? And one of the nurses told the doctor, oh, let's double check her lab works and all of that. So they bring the lab, okay? As they're trying to wheel me into the operation room, okay? I'm already under Tylenol. They're about to put me under anesthesia. They're about to put me a tube down my throat, girl, okay? Then the doctor comes, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening? What the fuck? You know, he marked me up in the red Sharpie, everything. I thought I was gonna look like a goddess, you know? He comes back with my lab work and says, girl, your hemoglobins are very, very... This man rubs me on the shoulder and says, I am so sorry. We cannot do the surgery today. And I said, are you freaking serious? I came all the way over here from the Inland Empire to the Orange County. I paid you $15,000. I've been waiting for months. For months. I told you from the beginning that I was anemic, and you told me it's fine. I was so pissed off, but I already knew inside of my heart that it was not meant to be. Like, I already knew. Something inside of me was like, girl, you're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it. You're not gonna get it. And I didn't believe. I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna be stubborn. I'm gonna get it. Because I'm young, and I want to look good, and blah, 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 blah. You know? God said no. Hell no, girl. You ain't getting no surgery. Yeah, that's my... Oh, and guess what? Since my hemoglobins were so low, if I would have done the surgery, it was a very intensive surgery, girl, I would have flopped and died right there. I would have been with Jesus right now. That would have been a great idea, actually. No. Yeah. So... that's crazy. And you know what? I know it wasn't meant to be because the doctor had already checked all my lab work and he said that I was good to go. But I know that God made him overlook. God, why did you do this to me? I could have been looking good. He made him overlook for a reason. Because I was going to die. Yeah. Bye.
So before chasing the perfect body, do your homework. Research your surgeon, facility, anesthesia, and recovery care. Because a cheap procedure can become incredibly expensive when something goes wrong. And no transformation is worth risking your life.
Story time about 4 years ago when I let my cardiologist give me a BBL in office, wide awake. So my doctor at the time, he was my heart doctor and he also did my Botox and my lip fillers. And he told me one of the last times I was getting filler that he was training in an in-office liposuction procedure. I agreed in my horrible state of mind that I was going to allow him to give me a BBL. Now, mind you, he had never done a BBL before. This is first. I paid $5,000 and they gave me 4 pills laying on the table, and immediately, this is not a sterile room. I'm in and out of consciousness at this point because of all of the prescription pills that I was given. And he takes a scalpel and he starts making cuts all over my stomach, my thighs, starts pumping fluid into my stomach area. So after he fills my stomach, he starts marking up different spots on me with a marker. Remember, I had my friend with me at the time. She was like my supervisor. I remember saying at some point, I have to get up, I have to go to the bathroom. So he lets me get up out of this sterile environment and go to a community bathroom in the office. I remember looking at myself in the mirror thinking, what am I doing? At that point, I was completely filled with fluid. My stomach looked distorted. My legs looked distorted. I looked absolutely insane. So I lay back down on the table and he's like, all right, by now you should be pretty numb. And he starts lipoing me. And he's going, and all of a sudden I feel the worst burning sensation. Trying to communicate that I'm in pain. And he keeps going, and the nurses are telling me it's fine, you know, it's looking so good. At this point, sobbing, crying. And I'm telling him, you need to stop, you need to stop. He stops for a second and he gives me another pain pill. And I'm going in and out of consciousness. My mom finally walks through the door. The look on her face, you could see the fear in her eyes like nothing you could ever experience. Immediately goes pale and she's like, what is going on? Like, what is happening here? And at this point, I had probably been in the office for like 2 hours getting this done to me. I just remember thinking that this was the worst decision I had ever made in my life, and I was probably going to die on this table. And he flips me over and he starts injecting everything back inside me. I mean, I remember losing consciousness at this point. I don't know if it was a combination of blood loss or all of the prescription meds I had been given. And the next thing I remember is waking up in my bed at home. My mom had put like pee-pee pads down on the bed, and I remember waking up and my bed was soaked with blood. I woke up shivering, like my body was going into shock. I remember shaking and looking at my mom saying, you need to bring me to a hospital. I think I'm gonna die, this is it. I had to monitor myself pretty closely for weeks. Now he doesn't have a license anymore, and nobody can find him. Nobody knows where he's a doctor now. I think he was probably doing these procedures unlicensed, but yeah, I'll never know. And that's just about it. And it was the worst decision I've ever made.
What I regret about my BBL/tummy tuck. I feel like I already talked about all of the goods, all the positives. So now let's get down and dirty and let me tell you guys what I actually regret. Now I am 6 months post-op, so I feel like I'm confident enough to share with you guys what I really regret, and it has nothing to do with surgery. What I regret is not taking care of my drain. So you know how like when you get your lipo, you have your drains, right? Like you have the cord and the actual drain, the little pocket where all the liquid falls, right? Well, I didn't take care of it properly. And mind you, when I was getting the instructions from the nurse when I was discharged, she told me, you know, like, oh, you have to take care of it, you have to clean it, you have to take pictures daily and send it to us and everything. I was like, okay, whatever. But I feel like nobody really talks about this. Well, for me, I didn't take care of it properly. Every time I would get up, I would let it slam it on the floor. I would walk and I would let it like drag it across the floor. So what happens is that every time it would get slammed or it would get dragged, it will pull from the actual incision, making the incision bigger. It got to a point where it looked so bad that I thought for a second that it was infected. And I told my nurse and I told the girl that was helping me and everything. She was like, no, like that's normal, but just be careful. And then the girl that was doing my massages, she was like, no girl, like you gotta take care of it, like be super careful and like treat it so handle with like care, you know. And I can even show you, let me show you guys how my incision looks now that it's been 6 months. That's the only thing I actually regret. So this is how I look. Six months. And this is how it looks. This is how it looks. So it's big. That's the only thing I regret, not taking care of it. Because if I would have taken care of it better, properly, it would have looked so much smaller. So learn from my mistake and take care of your drain, girl. If you're planning on having surgery, make sure that that's one of your priorities, taking care of your drain.
Ladies, I don't judge anybody that gets BBLs, but we really need to be careful who we are getting our bodies done with. Did you guys hear about the two sisters who went to Miami to get their BBLs? Well, they went together. For one of them, it was their second time getting BBLs, so she already knows the procedure. For the other one, it's their first time. Okay, so, you know, they have recovery houses after surgery so somebody can take care of you, because that is a surgery. Somebody has to drain you, make sure that you are okay before you go home. Well, anybody can own one of those recovery houses. And what happened is that one of the sisters unfortunately passed away because the nurse at the recovery house gave her the wrong pills. You know, they give you painkillers for the pain because for some people, that's excruciating pain. Some people are used to it. Some people have high tolerance to pain, so it really all depends. Well, unfortunately, whoever owned that home doesn't know what they're doing. They weren't licensed, apparently, okay? And they gave that girl the wrong pills. When the other one came back, she's like, where's my sister? And unfortunately, her sister was no longer with us. So, listen, it's 2025. Everybody wants to be a baddie, and I'm all for it. But ladies, please, please be careful who you are going to. If it sounds too good to be true, then that means it is. A BBL, a real good quality BBL, should be $10,000 or more that I know of. If anybody's talking about giving you a BBL for $3,000, $5,000, that's probably not the best doctor, okay? Remember, this is your body. So the more you pay, obviously it's because you're dealing with professionals. And it's just really sad to hear that that girl came back and she asked for her sister and her sister was no longer here. Can you imagine? Rest in peace to her sister. I heard that she just had a baby. This situation is just so crazy, and so many women are passing away from BBLs. This is becoming just the norm. Look at Miss Jackie. This is just too much, yo.
So before chasing the perfect body, do your homework. Research your surgeon, facility, anesthesia, and recovery care. Because a cheap procedure can become incredibly expensive when something goes wrong. And no transformation is worth risking your life.